An eventful day at Flyers morning skate today on Tuesday as they prepare for a battle against the Tampa Bay Lightning. We had injury updates. We had call-up information. We had a potential big-name healthy scratch. And we had the fallout from Sunday's big loss to the Pittsburgh Penguins, which largely fell on the shoulders of one Cal Petersen. My name is Charlie O'Connor with PHLY Sports, here from the Flyers Training Center in Voorhees, New Jersey. As I said, Flyers had their morning skate today in preparation for their 7 p.m. game against the Tampa Bay Lightning, another team in a playoff spot. So another tough game for the Flyers, and they will have to play this game without probably their best player, Travis Konecny. He is out for his third straight game. John Tortorella was not willing to reveal whether he would miss the games this weekend. They play on Friday and Saturday, but there is a bit of a gap in between games from Tuesday to Friday, so possibly could be ready by then. They did designate it this weekend as what they believe was a minor short-term injury. However, without getting to his third game out, they're suffering that injury in practice on Friday, so we'll see how it goes. Another player who was injured this weekend, Jamie Drysdale. So Jamie Drysdale took a big hit in the Pittsburgh game, came up very much favoring his left arm, shoulder area. The big concern, of course, this is the same shoulder where he had labrum surgery a couple years ago. That was the big fear. Last night, however, Elliot Friedman of Sportsnet did report the Flyers deemed it a week-to-week injury and not necessarily a season-ending injury. It could be a season-ending injury, but the positive is that even if it is season-ending, it doesn't appear that this is the absolute worst-case scenario injury, which would probably be a recurrence of the labrum injury that knocked him out for 4 to 6 months and ended his season 2 seasons ago. Cam York, who's one of his best friends on the team, if not his best friend on the team, confirmed as much today when we spoke with him after practice, said that he's not quite sure the specifics yet, but his understanding is that Drysdale avoided the worst-case scenario, so that's good news there. The bad news, of course, is that they're going to be missing Jamie Drysdale for a bit, which means right now they have 6 healthy defensemen on the roster. Mark Stahl's one of them. Mark Stahl, in an elevator role on Sunday when Jamie Drysdale went down, looked like the worst version of Mark Stahl. It looks to me that Stahl is the kind of defenseman where if you use him sparingly, he's the number 6, number 7, sits out some games fairly regularly, doesn't get a ton of tough minutes, he can do pretty much okay. His underlying numbers this season actually have been pretty good, much better than a lot of people might realize. However, if you start having to use him in a bigger role, if you start having to use him against the top lines, against even second lines, he's going to show his age. And he showed his age on Sunday. The Flyers look like they're just going to keep rolling with him for now. They do have Ronnie Adder and Emil Andre down to the minors, pushing for calls. My understanding, based on the prospect articles I did last week, is that they believe Ronnie Adder is a little bit closer. So far, it looks like they're going to stick with Stahl. Rasmus Dahlin is still out. He was actually put on injured reserve today, so don't expect him to come back in the lineup anytime in the next week or 2 or maybe 3. Why was he put on injured reserve? Because the Flyers need to clear out a roster spot for one Bobby Brink, who has returned to the NHL team after scoring 11 points in 11 games with the Phantoms after being demoted. Brink was on a line today with Joel Farabee and Morgan Frost, so looks like there's a good chance he's going to play. John Tortorella was unwilling to confirm for a fact. He said he wasn't sure, but if you're going to call up Bobby Brink, you're probably going to play him. Now the question is, who sits for him? Now, before Sunday, the main person I would think would sit for him would be Ole Lycksell. Lycksell has not really earned the trust of the coaching staff just yet. He hasn't established himself as an NHLer. However, Sunday was Lycksell's best game as an NHLer. 2 assists, consistently impactful. He was on the ice late in the game. He was on the ice power play in the third period. There's no way that they're going to sit Ole Lycksell after a game like that, after maybe he's having a little bit of a breakthrough. So who is going to sit if you're going to bring Bobby Brink in? The one logical possibility, Cam Atkinson, hasn't scored a point in 11 games. John Tortorella, when we asked him about Bobby Brink, about the call-up, Tortorella essentially said, yes, Brink is playing better in the AHL. That's one of the reasons for the call. It's also because he's also concerned about some guys up here who aren't playing that well. He also said Cam Atkinson's recent play has been terribly inconsistent. So that raised a red flag as to whether Cam Atkinson might be the player who sits. Then, at the end of practice, everyone was off the ice, and it was Cam Atkinson staying late on the ice, taking extra shots at Cal Petersen. The extra work players tend to be the ones who are scratched. So, most likely, Cam Atkinson will take a seat. Interestingly enough, though, Cam Atkinson wasn't the only player who might be suffering some sort of emotion due to recent poor play. Sean Couturier appears to be centering what looks like a fourth line. He was centering, Luxell. Not a huge deal. Luxell obviously had the strong game on Sunday, but Nick Delorier was the other winger. So it doesn't seem like John Tortorella is particularly happy with Cam Atkinson or Sean Couturier. But Couturier had a pretty good game on Sunday, definitely one of his better ones in a while. Had a couple good assists, including a really nice one, Tyson Forster. The Torts even straight up praised today after practice, praised that pass. But it does seem like Tortorella is a little bit frustrated with Couturier. He kind of called him out at practice last week, said he needed more from him, hasn't really gotten it. So now Sean Couturier may have a one-game stint on line 4. We'll see how that goes and if that's actually the line he ends up rolling with tonight. Final point, Cal Petersen. Cal Petersen obviously did not play well on Sunday. He gave up quite a few short side goals. Just general terms, looked kind of like a mess. So the question is, will he remain the Flyers' backup goalie? They have Felix Sandstrom, who no world beater by any means, but he's played in the NHL. He's younger than Cal Petersen, who was drafted and developed by the organization. Is Cal Petersen on a short leash? Could he be sent down in the near future? Might he only get one more opportunity to show he can be the backup to Sam Ersson? I asked John Tortorella that directly today, and he did not say one way or the other whether that's going to happen, but he said these are discussions we're going to have. I'm not sure where it all goes, was his other quote. So, leaving the door open for the possibility of a swap of Petersen and Sandstrom. However, Petersen is still here. They were going to do the swap right away. Presumably they would have done it when they called out Bobby Brink. Petersen remains. John Tortorella said the rest of the way the backup's probably going to get 4, maybe 5 starts. So, not a huge workload, but enough in a tight playoff race that it could swing it one way or the other. My read, it might be a situation where this weekend is Cal Petersen's last chance. They have a back-to-back. They play Washington on the road. They play Ottawa at home. Presumably, Petersen's going to get one of those 2 games. Maybe this is his last chance to show that Sunday's game was just a fluke. I would guess if he struggles again, might be Felix Sandstrom's time. But we'll see how it plays out. It's possible they could even call Felix Sandstrom up later in the week in anticipation of those games. It's possible that they're just going to keep Sandstrom down and they're going to roll with Petersen the rest of the way. We'll see how it plays out. Either way, it was a very eventful and interesting day at Flyers morning skate in anticipation of tonight's game against the once powerhouse but still quite strong Tampa Bay Lightning. I'm Charlie O'Connor with PHLY Sports. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening.
We all silly like the mayor.